All right, kids, this is unexpected. Not really. They've been flirting with the idea for a minute, but up here in Canada, we're going to be going through another election, huh? I don't know why, because you take a look at all of the fucking polls that are out there right now, and there's nothing that's really accurate because our polling system are kind of just bought and paid for by the Liberal government, so they don't really come out on a very regular basis. But last time we looked at the numbers, nobody's going to be gaining, nobody's going to be losing everything. We're just going to end up in the exact same situation. But then at the same time, they've also passed Bill C-19, which does all of the shenanigans that has happened in the United States for the 2020 election. I don't know what I'm specifically talking about. Do you want to be more specific, Don? No, I don't. Everything that happened down there is going to be coming up north, so expect days-long elections, days-long count, and who knows what that could rot. But again, this is supposed to be happening Sunday, so I'll be waiting with bated breath, I suppose. Maybe, I don't know, you guys know during the summer I kind of take Sunday off and I do any pre-recording, but it's Friday, so you know what that means. PM Trudeau expected to launch federal election on Sunday, so let's see if this ends up coming true, shall we? Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is expect to, I don't know, get his hair done. So maybe that's why he's waiting a couple of days. He's got a hair appointment. And he's got to make sure that there's right enough gray in there so people think that he has sagely wisdom and that it's not just 70 IQ takes on literally everything. He's expected to launch a federal election campaign this Sunday with the vote set to be held as early as September 20th. Yay. Will that be before or after? I'd imagine they'd probably try to push it a little bit later, especially if they're going to try to get away with the whole, my fourth wave shit. But they're already priming and puckering us all up because everybody in Canada is fucking nuts. But you already knew that, and if you don't know, now you know. After months of speculation over the prospect of the pandemic election, sources speaking with with a not for arbitration basis said that arbitration attribution, my mistake, said that Trudeau is planning to visit Rideau Hall this weekend and ask Governor General Mary Simon. She's the woman, so that means she's doing a good job. I don't know what the Governor General does. I don't really care what they do. Mostly because there's a lot of figureheads in the federal government up here in Canada. It's like the Speaker of the House is a pretty important job when it comes to United States politics at every fucking level, but our Speaker of the House here just wears a funny robe and sometimes has the fucking powdered wig that they put on, and they just get let out by a fucking dork that still knocks on a fucking set of swinging doors with a mace. Thought we won our freedom or some shit way back, whatever. Yeah, but he's gonna go up to Governor General Mary Simon to dissolve the 43rd Parliament and draw up the 333 writs of election. However, sources indicated that it's still possible that the Prime Minister could adjust his plans. Maybe he's seen the polling. I think they sit at like 27%, which is roughly about the same amount of seats that he has. And you take a look at some of the other tangentially connected polling, and it's very lacking results. Like, okay, whole bunch of people really like the different CUF-era mandates and policies. Okay, well, it depends on where you did all your fucking polling, because if you just do it in the Toronto area, of course they're going to say that. I think you're going to find if you end up calling this snap election, of course they also have internal polling, which could tell completely different numbers, but I just don't think on the whole a whole bunch of this shit is terribly popular. So you could be banking on a loser, but then again, that could be a good thing. But then I take a look at the opposition and all of this entire situation. The fact that we're even thinking about having a snap election falls squarely on the plate of the opposition, but we'll get to them shortly. The campaign kicks off this Sunday with an election on September 20th. The 2021 federal election would be 36 days in length. Okay, cool. That's how most fucking elections should go. It shouldn't be some drawn-out process, but whatever. The shortest possible permitted under the elections law. Okay, triggering the election means that Canadians would be in for at least 5 weeks of campaigning, seeing the federal party leaders crisscrossing the country and pitching them. Don't really care because it won't really be properly televised and won't really be properly covered anyways, because you got CTV, CBC, Global News, fucking Rogers, who gives a shit, Global, all of them fucking liberal sycophants, and then you're just gonna have Aaron O'Toole just looking like a sweaty disaster up there anyways, so it really don't matter. When the next fixed election date isn't until October 2023, minority governments rarely last a full 4 years, between elections. Yes, the last time that we seen this go back and forth was between Paul Martin and Stephen Harper, and they crisscrossed at least 5 fucking times. And it was a tumultuous time, but I was also, I think, like a preteen all the way through like my early teenage years when that was going back and forth. So I was paying attention to it because I've been entrenched in politics for as long as I can remember. Some of my earliest fucking memories is my dad almost falling asleep on the couch while also yelling at Jose Cruz Jr. in the fucking outfield, watching a matinee Blue Jays game before going to kindergarten, and watching This Hour Has 22 Minutes and Royal Canadian Air Force Friday nights. So that was all political commentary and political comedy. So I've known about all these players for a long fucking time, and I know that Canadian politics is about as fucking boring as it gets, but it's still important to me, damn it. But in the 2019 federal election, voters reduced the Liberal majority to a minority, and since then has been a series of shakeups in the political scene, from the election of new opposition leaders and recent invigoration over social justice issues, which is great and definitely favors the Liberal government because they've adopted basically all of the talking points of the NDP, and the NDP have just continued to push farther into that to the point where they're just kind of really pushing out any of the moderates that were still left in that party, because they used to be the party of farmers. They used to be the party of the working class under the likes of Jack Layton. And then they elected this fucking moron, Jagmeet Singh, who, if you guys remember, I bring it up fairly regularly, so hopefully you do. He called at the height of all of the George Floyd insanity. Meanwhile, there were like no black people getting unlawfully killed or whatever the fuck they wanted to push as the narrative at the time. No, he wanted a unanimous vote to address systemic racism in Canada. And then one member of the Bloc Québécois, which is kind of fucking weird in and of itself, would not submit to that. I'm sure there would have been other conservative MPs potentially who would not have towed that party line on that issue, but he stood up and he was pilloried and he was called out by Jagmeet Singh as being a racist, and he had to be drugged out of the House of Commons. Never forget that incident. Never do. Never let Jagmeet fucking live that down, because that dude is a total fucking radical. And that was not just a mask slipping. That was just not a mask off moment. That was a taking the mask and throwing it across the fucking floor. In his anticipation post-election call remarks from outside Rideau Hall on Sunday, Trudeau will have to explain to the electorate why he felt it was necessary to put the country into an election now, while reopening and vaccination efforts are still underway. They really shouldn't be if you would have bought the right amount of vaccines, you fucking asshole. The news was first reported by Reuters and came as Canada's Chief Public Health Officer, Theresa Tam. Ugh. If you ever thought that there was a public health expert less fuckable than Anthony Fauci, Theresa Tam, ladies and gentlemen, held a press conference announcing that the country has now entered a 4th wave of the pandemic. Yay. Did it come with like streamers or balloons? Because I know I just look outside right now and it's like, oh my God, there's so many people just lining the streets. Right. Driven by the Delta variant and mostly impacting the unvaccinated. So if the Lambda ends up crossing through because viruses just, I don't know, fucking magically come across. But if that comes through, is that going to be part of the 4th wave? Or are you guys just going to wait to announce that so you can have a 5th wave? And then what, if you get to a 6th wave, do you get a free Tim Hortons coffee? Like, what? How does this work? The news was reported that they have been monitoring the increased cases of COVID-19 activity across the country. The latest national surveillance data, that sounds creepy, indicates that a 4th wave is underway in Canada, and the cases are plodding along a strong resurgence trajectory. Okay, so how are you going to do it? Fucking govern everybody harder? Lock them down even harder? 4th wave. Okay. It's eventually going to start looking ludicrous when you have to start demarcating all of these different waves with Roman numerals. There are currently more than 13,000 active cases in Canada. That's what we're dealing with. A country that has, just about, or just a little bit better than 40 million people in it, and we're worried about 13,000 active cases. But our hospitals are being overwhelmed. 13,000 cases. More than double the number from late July. Okay, whatever. How many of these people are actually sick? Like, how many of these people have fucking symptoms, or did they just pop one of those tests? Whatever. With cases on the rise again, I'll take your word for it, because I don't care. You guys are just going to say whatever you need to. This is CTV after all. It will be up to the electorate to decide whether Trudeau deserves another chance to steer the country through it and out of it, and on their minds if it's time for a change. Again, this is why this announcement, this little leak, I don't know if I buy it or not. It's like, why would he do that? It's like, okay, oh, the virus is still bad and I'm the only one who can really stop it from happening. That'll be the fucking underlying message. I'm sure he'll find a way to fucking see more flowery and work in people kind or some shit like that. Maybe, okay, I'll pay attention to the news conference if he comes out in blackface with a fucking headscarf. I would really love that, and it would be a great homage to some of his own personal history, and then just really kickstart his campaign. I think it'd be a great way to grab headlines. Just, you know, if you need any more ideas, Justin, you know how to find me. But why still? If everybody is still afraid of this fucking virus, right? The people that you're trying to pander to, that only you have the answers to this. This is the fourth wave. Fourth wave. You didn't stop the first three from happening. You didn't prevent a fourth from happening. So why do you think that you would have the solutions? Why would they vote for you? That's why I find this a little bit odd. I guess we'll just have to see. Both conservative leaders, The Tool and Jagmeet Singh, have spoken out against the snap election, mostly because the NDP is probably just going to disappear, become such a small, irrelevant fucking little faction that it really won't matter, and that the conservatives are just so fucking inept. You have a golden goose in front of you. You could just pick up the same talking points that successful conservative voices out there, Ron DeSantis, Greg Abbott, what they have been doing, even Jason Kenney, okay? He seemed to have turned face and he hasn't said anything dumb lately, so credit where credit's due. You could just take that platform and you could run with it at a national level, and people would appreciate it. But instead, you drop that opportunity like a china plate in a fucking driveway, and it just shatters everywhere because you're totally fucking inept. I blame him more than Trudeau. Like, Trudeau's always just going to do his same fucking rigmarole of just absolutely retarded fucking takes. But you have an opportunity. There are so many fucking inroads. There's an opportunity to have a real fucking conservative at our time of greatest need. But no, you're just going to be some fucking moderate shit dick and not fucking do anything. Unbelievable. It's like, yeah, no, oh yeah, we definitely believe in conservatism, and oh wow, we've really seen an uptick in appreciation for that type of value in our friends to the south, and you know what? Yeah, we really like Republican leadership, but oh no, we don't like Trump. We're just going to go ahead and put a Mitch McConnell in charge. So fucking stupid. Just stupid. Oh, let's continue on. Parties have also been pushing ahead with nominating candidates, putting in place key campaign staff and sorting logistics like renting campaign planes and buses while pledging to follow all local pandemic precautions. I don't care. You want to get my vote? Because it's very much going to be up for grabs, okay? I want to see what the PPC does and what the People's Party of Canada. Again, I hate that name. It just harkens to like the worst fucking governments in the world, but whatever. Semantics aside, I want to see what they're going to do, because my representative here, he sits so far in the fucking backbench, he might as well be out in the park for how much he gets to do. So if the People's Party have a fucking candidate worth voting for, that would be terrific, and I would love to champion him or her from the fucking rooftops. Well, let's be honest, though. I'll be a little bit more passionate of a fucking endorsement if it is a guy, after all. Because, come on. There's only so far you can believe a woman, am I right, guys? Come on. Well, Justin Trudeau wants to just act like it's over. It's not over, and people are still worried, Singh said on Thursday. See, yeah, this is the fucking path he's taking. Unveiling his party's campaign platform on Thursday morning, and if Justin Trudeau was listening to the people and his concerns and their worries, he would not be holding a selfish summer election. Yeah, but you lick his sack clean of any fucking sweat, so who's gonna take you seriously, Jagmeet? You guys vote in fucking lockstep. Trudeau would have a de facto majority if he didn't call this snap election, which he still might not, because you guys work together in tandem. And you guys working together in tandem, it doesn't matter what the rest of anybody else wants, because your talking points, they get the floor. And there's no difference now between the NDP and the Liberal Party. It's just a race to see who's going to hit the fucking intersectionality barrel first. Jetting off across the country over the last few weeks and resuming in-person announcements, Trudeau deflected suggestions that he was conducting a pre-campaign test run or eyeing a visit to Rideau Hall. Though he has spoken repeatedly about how, in his mind, Parliament has become toxic and unworkable due to the opposition obstructions, claims that his party is rebuked, given the Liberals were unable to or to pass key bills like that censorship one for the internet, which had to be stopped by fucking people in the Senate, the unelected body that is the Senate with no term limits and just absolutely retarded pay. But they actually came through for one, so I guess they kind of earned their next generation paycheck, whatever. But you guys keep trying to ram through absolutely retarded legislation. You were successful with Bill C-19, mostly because it slipped under a lot of people's nose, but C-10, it got stopped, and now you're bitching and belly aching about it. Despite his election deflections, that rhymes, recent polls from various public opinion outlets have signaled that the Liberals could be within reach of a majority government. No, that's not even true. If a vote was held soon, which could also be feeding into the arguments from opposition parties to hold off. The latest Nanos tracking suggests the Liberals have double-digit advantage, but the day of the election is called. It'll be a complete reset on where things are at. Yeah, and that's Nanos. Nanos is funded by the federal government. They take a big old cut from them, so let's just wait and see on that one, kids. I think for the Liberals, what they're hoping for is a smash and grab victory where a short election occurs and they don't have to, and they don't make a lot of mistakes. Well, if Trudeau's going to be talking, it's a very good opportunity for mistakes, or at least for more different corruption and ethics infractions to come up. The longer the election, the greater the scrutiny on the government in the day, and the more time for the opposition parties to try to tear down the government. They've had, since 2019, fall of 2019, to continue to dig up stuff. It doesn't stick on Trudeau because everybody, including the asshole who fucking wrote this little fucking fluff piece for the federal government, they don't allow it to stick. 4 ethics violations. Trudeau's enriched his family through the Wii scandal. He's bankrolled SNC Lavalin and ended up canning a whole bunch of fucking women that he's supposed to be a champion for. He's taken flights and vacations off to foreign islands. And then most recently, his Secretary of Defense has bungled up the fucking Air Force, the one shining beacon on our military hill. He's fucked it up beyond all recognition. He survived all of that. And there's no repercussions for Justin. No, of course not. Because he has a nice smile and he's a good-looking guy. Canada's Chief Electoral Officer Stephanie Perlot, another woman, has spoken favorably of having a longer writ period to allow Elections Canada to have a longer runway to get all elements of national election in place, but the agency say it's nevertheless ready to safely conduct a vote. Hopefully have all of those drop boxes available. Heading into the campaign, here's the current seat count breakdown in the House of Commons. 155 for the Liberals, 119 for Conservatives, 132 for the Bloc, 24 for the NDP, and 7 irrelevant motherfuckers. With 170 seats for a majority, yeah, you can see right there, the NDP and the Liberals work together, and it doesn't fucking matter what else goes on. So, I don't know if we're going to get the announcement. It really doesn't make sense, especially taking a look at the numbers, but nothing Trudeau does make sense. So, I'd imagine we're going to be talking about this on Monday, that, yeah, guess what, there's an election that's been called. So, wait and see, I guess. I'm not optimistic about this, mostly because I don't really see too much of a bright future in the next decade or so for Canada. So, I know I'm making my escape plans. Hopefully you are too. Thank you very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.